Your Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Your Excellency President Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe and Chair of the African Union, Your Excellencies, colleague heads of state and government, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Those who spoke before me have eloquently testified to the warm and generous hospitality of our host, the superb organization, as well as the excellent facilities that have been placed at our disposal. I'd like to join my colleague heads of state in expressing Ghana's profound appreciation to the government and people of India for all that they have invested in making this third India-Africa Forum Summit a resounding success. I'm hopeful that our meeting here in Delhi will not only be a unique and memorable experience, but will further strengthen our shared commitment to the creation of a truly peaceful and secure world on a solid foundation of freedom, justice, and prosperity for all. The strategic partnership between India and Africa must therefore be seen as part of our shared heritage of struggling against foreign domination and an unshakable determination to uphold the dignity of our people. Your Excellencies, in the excitement and euphoria of the post-colonial world, the founders of our newly independent nations forged strong partnerships aimed at asserting themselves in a bipolar world that was dominated by an arms race between two superpowers. Jawaharlal Nehru, Sukarno, Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, and many other great leaders established a solidarity that led in 1961 to the formation of the non-aligned movement and subsequently led to many other partnerships based on the principles of South-South cooperation. This solidarity among the countries of the developing world at the time allowed our nations to speak with one voice against oppression and injustice of our world. We've come a long way since the early post-independence era, and the need for South-South cooperation could not have been even stronger. Our world faces new threats and new challenges: conflict, terrorism, climate change, inequality, and new waves of migration have become a common feature of our current world. And yet, we also stand on the cusp of great opportunities too, to improve the economic circumstances of our people and eradicate extreme poverty. The Millennium Development Goals were a commendable effort by the world to improve the conditions of life of people, especially in the developing world. Great progress was made under this program to lift people out of poverty, reduce hunger, increase enrollment in primary education, empower women and girls, reduce HIV/AIDS infections, and increase access to water and sanitation. Your Excellencies, the recently adopted Sustainable Development Goals, the African Union's Agenda 2063, and the upcoming COP21 summit in Paris allow us to consolidate and build upon the successes that were achieved under the MDGs. We can achieve this only if we capture the unshakable spirit of solidarity that was pioneered by the founders of our nations. And this is why this summit of solidarity between India and Africa, and as President Robert Mugabe described it, as twins whose destinies are inextricably intertwined, is critical. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana warmly welcomes Prime Minister Modi's announcement of the 10 billion plus and other commitments, including 50,000 scholarships that was announced this morning. Over the next 5 years, this allows Africa and India to expand the scope of our cooperation and our partnership. But Your Excellency, Prime Minister Modi, I'm most excited and enthused by the leadership you have assumed in the formation of an alliance of solar-rich countries, which you intend to launch on the sidelines of COP21 in Paris next month. Ghana strongly supports your initiative and would indeed be one of the first countries to sign up to this initiative. Energy remains the greatest binding constraint to Africa's development. India also suffers its own challenges with access to power, especially in the rural areas. And yet for Africa and India, we have the most promise in using the free energy of the sun to transform the lives of our people. It is unacceptable and indeed a shame that many of the countries with the highest utilization of solar power are located in temperate climates that have a relatively much lower level of insulation than India and Africa. Over the next 5 years, working together, we can, India and Africa together, contribute our quota to realizing the targets outlined in the Sustainable Development Goals, with particular emphasis on the achievement of agricultural self-sufficiency and access to sustainable energy. Ghana strongly welcomes the tone and substance of the two outcome documents of this summit. Not only do the documents speak directly to our shared values and vision, we also have a roadmap that has the potential to transform the lives of our people. Finally, Excellencies, I have no doubt that we all share the same conviction that through the implementation of the transformative agenda laid out in the agreed framework, we will have the key to lifting millions of our people out of poverty. We all need to be constantly kept abreast with developments in the implementation of the framework for strategic cooperation. This is a partnership that should be mutually beneficial. Africa is not looking for handouts. We're looking for a partnership that will add value to our exports, expand manufacturing, trade, and investment. We believe that in India, we have found such a partner that has a sincere and genuine will to work with Africa to create real prosperity for our two people. Let us pool our resources and efforts together and march forward resolutely in the spirit of friendship and cooperation. I thank you very much for this opportunity.